All right, what is up, guys? Boom! We're going to be talking about The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor Lavalle. It was published in 2016. It takes place in New York back in the 1920s. It focuses mainly on two characters, I would say, mostly on Charles Thomas Tester, otherwise known as Tommy Tester, who is basically, he's a black musician from Harlem, but he's more of a not a con man. I would say maybe he's a hustler. The other person that we focus on in the book is Thomas J. Malone, who is the detective from Red Hook, whose path crosses with Tommy Tester. So, when the story begins, Tommy is running his side hustle where he is bringing a small book to a lady in Queens who has interests in the occult. After finishing the job and getting paid, shortly after that, Tommy is found on the street playing his guitar by a strange man. The strange man basically propositions Tommy to come to his mansion 3 days from now and to play music. The man also offers Tommy an incredible large amount of money for the times, and Tommy knows. He's no fool. He understands that this amount of money could set him and his dad up for a long time. So, of course, he accepts the offer. So shortly after basically, sealing the deal with the man and they part ways, Tommy is then accosted by two different police officers. And this is kind of where we get the introduction to the other character, Detective Malone, as well as another one. And this is where it takes off. All right, so what does it got? All right, it's got mystery, horror, and racism at every corner. It's got seedy haunts and creepy mansions. And let's not forget, a sleeping king that you might not want to wake. All right, so now that we've scratched the surface, let's get into it. So, the pace. It's a short book. I mean, it's considered a novella, so, the pace is fast. This was a first for me. I started and finished this book in the same day. I'd never been able to do that before. I think the most I ever really read was like maybe 70, 80 pages. So I was really pleased that I was able to start something and finish it all in the same day. I got to admit, since I started the channel, I'm obviously reading faster just because I read consistently. But the pace of this, I would say, is a very good, steady pace. It will change halfway through as we kind of change focus, I guess, on characters. Where in the first half, it's way more seen through Tommy, and then the second half being seen through Malone. Either way, and I feel like during that transition, it might slow you up, especially if you're new or struggling. But it's nothing that you can't overcome. It's pretty easy. You get your bearings again really quick. I feel like when you switch over to the Detective Malone, and you see the differences too. Obviously, you're going to see a little bit more the racism side of things, I guess, and indifference also when you switch over to Malone. So the next thing we'll go into is the tone, and I think that this hits on several categories. It's it's got cosmic horror, it's got mystery, it's got sci-fi, it's got a lot to offer actually for being such a short book. So the one thing about the tone, I would say that, I felt personally from beginning to end, this had a very ominous tone to it. It really grabbed me, it grabbed me by the back of the neck and didn't let go till the end. It really was. I had a lot of fun reading this. This is probably one of the reasons I was able to finish it in one day, is because I really had a hard time putting it down. That ominous tone just kept me turning the pages, especially also that ominous tone attached to the little mystery aspect, because you're man, what is trying to figure it out. It was a lot of fun. All these little sprinkles of different genres in here, man, made it just all around a lot of fun for me personally to read. I would say that, you know, it's not like it's like super graphic, violent, all that. I would say like the most like ugly aspect of the tone or whatever in this book is the racism from, you know, people between people. So, yeah. I guess I also want to get into something I thought was kind of interesting when I read this book because Victor Lavalle talks about, like, there's something he talks about in here being the supreme alphabet. Now, I guess if you didn't know anything about it, you would just probably think that maybe it was something he made up or maybe just some, like, you know, occult thing, but it's like neither of those. This is like a 5%er thing. And you know, I'm not going to sit here and claim like I know everything about him. I don't really know that much on it, but it was because I read a book in the past, a book called The Tao of Wu by the RZA, and that's where I first came to know of the divine alphabet, you know, supreme mathematics, the lessons, all that stuff. And so I felt like it was kind of cool that that was kind of thrown in here, and I don't know how many people really caught on to that or not, but it was a nice little touch, like, because he definitely changes it, and like just like there's a part in there where he's like zero cipher. It's like a ward in the book, and I thought that was just cool, man. Like he put a different little spin on stuff. I don't know if Victor Lavalle is a 5%er, but like I said, I just thought it was a kind of a cool little flourish, and I wonder how many people really like caught that. I guess also we just really should revisit that part of the tone with the, you know, the racism in the book. I guess, you know, it's when you're focused like on the Tommy, the beginning, the first half, I mean, you really see like the ugliness, you know, like he's really got to figure out how to navigate the city, just because it's like, man, he could get the shit kicked out of him, or, you know, maybe worse, you know. And then even on the second half of the book, just how you see like how cops talk to one another, how, you know, even how like cops taking witness statements from other white people, you know what I mean? And it's just like their little back and forths are really, you know, it's ugly. It's you know, obviously it's from another time, and I know we have a whole lot of issues going on currently, but it's definitely ugly to read it, you know what I mean? But I know that, you know what I mean, it's put there for a reason. It's very charged. I felt it. I'm sure other people will too. And I mean, it definitely is a big part, I think, of the book. This book is like a retelling of H.P. Lovecraft's A Horror at Red Hook. And that is kind of a controversial book, and I'm not going to sit here and talk a whole bunch of that because I don't know that much about H.P. Lovecraft or even that short story. I do know that you know, it brings up a lot of racist arguments and whatnot. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I know that Victor Lavalle did a great job of I guess bringing this time period, you know, really putting it in your face and making you deal with it. You know, it's a bit of gut churning, but man, what a great read. Thumbs up, Victor Lavalle. I'm actually gonna look to get into other stuff. I know he's got a book called Changeling I really want to check out. But all in all, man, I was just really blown away that I was able to start something and finish it in the same day. And being able to do that, I can't see how I can't recommend this to slow readers or even struggling readers. I don't think, as far as struggling readers, I don't think there's too many things in this book that are going to hang you up. There's no super tricky wording. Most of the crazy stuff that's happening is still explained fairly well. It's, you know, it's not so complex that you can't like imagine it. Everything in here was great. I think people that are going to have problems with it are maybe people that you know, they might not want such an ambiguous ending. I mean, but is it really? I mean, it was a great read. Thanks for watching, guys. Obviously, I've gotten some new stuff as far as setup. I got a new phone I'm recording on. Hopefully all this comes out better than the other stuff I was doing. We'll see. I don't know. I still got to edit this thing and piece it together and put it back out there. And you know, we're just trying to evolve, trying to keep this thing going. So thanks for being a part of it. Later, guys.